Welcome back to the Analog Dungeon. Here's part 2 of The Lost City. Depending on how your wandering monster table roll went, you might have clocked in on this sooner rather than later, because the reason why Cynidicea fell and the reason why followers of Gorm and Madarua and
Madarua, come on.
There you go. And Usamigaras are, working to try and restore themselves. Is long ago a creature of some sort that was hailed as a god came loose in the pyramid that Cynidicea had built as a temple and started killing folk and just started ravaging and running through the temple. And eventually the King Alexander decided, well, we're not getting anywhere trying to exterminate this thing. I guess he makes a pretty good prison, off ramp, and he starts throwing prisoners to be executed into the temple for the monster to eat. Right?
Sure,
Classic
Sarlacc, Rancor. Those are just the Star Wars examples.
Bingo.
Sure.
The problem is that for some reason, some people started to worship this thing. And there began to form a cult, and people would sneak into the temple, sneak into the pyramid, and form a cult worshiping this monster. Think Conan and James Earl Jones is like the worship of that big snake monster thing, right?
Yeah.
So this would eventually, and this is, I got tickled reading this. In the DM's background, the creature's name is Zargon.
Okay.
Zargon.
Sure.
It is
standard spelling of Zargon.
There you go. Zargon. It was roughly humanoid in shape, though much bigger than a human, and had 12 tentacles in place of arms and legs. Its head was that of a giant lizard with a large black horn in the middle of its forehead. So it's possible that the players may wind up getting regaled by Cynidicea in a story passed down of when Zargon appeared and when Zargon caused everything to go wrong in Cynidicea and their civilization to fall. In time, a strange cult arose that worshipped it. They viewed the monster's victims as religious sacrifices, and worship of the ancient gods was forsaken in favor of the worship of the monster Zargon, until finally, most of the citizens of Cynidicea worshipped the monster.
So is our good friend and former resident of Winnipeg, Ontario, is he down with Zargon? Is Zargon his homeboy?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
Cynidicea and his faction are, along with the other two factions, the followers of Usamigaras and Madarua, are the only Cynidicians left in this fallen civilization who are trying to work to restore their lost civilization by restoring the faith in their prior gods. They're fighting the losing fight of trying to deal with the Zargon worshippers.
Yes, fighting the good fight against the evils of Zargon. Also, I have to say for our Canadian listeners, I know Winnipeg is in Manitoba. So before you delete that comment, I know Winnipeg is in Manitoba. Continue.
But here's where this is where I kind of lost it a little in the background. The worship, this is prior to the fall of Cynidicea. The worshippers of Zargon began to look for strange pleasures. They sought oblivion in rare wines and bizarre drugs. Workers no longer repaired the irrigation ditches. Rich land turned into desert. The army lost its discipline. Crack houses appeared on every corner. Broken windows appeared all across the city as people rebelled. It was all I could get is this like 90s, fake fantasy of just like the 90s anti-drug special of what a drug slum looks like. Right. Like
Zargon is the anti-Reagan, right?
Exactly. Cynidicea suffered from the broken window syndrome, and the whole thing just like collapsed.
So let's read between the lines then. it's weird that they all went down into the pyramid to worship Zargon, when in all reality, Zargon's a cool ass dude who knows how to throw a hell of a party. And that's why everyone was going down there, because Zargon knows how to do it.
He can play guitar. He
yes,
pulled a
exactly.
720 on his skateboard the other day off the side of the pyramid.
I'm thinking of converting to Zargonism. He had me at alcohol and drugs.
He took a shit in the mouth of the Madarua statue. That guy's wild.
Classic Zargon.
And this is the old chaos versus law.
Yes.
Right?
It's not evil versus good yet, which is so funny to me. That's maybe the funniest, most surprising part of these old modules, is for some reason everything was anti-chaos, not anti-evil. When it's like, if you got to pick of the 6 cardinal directions, evil's the bad one. Like, by a mile, evil is the bad one, followed closely by lawful. But but no, everything is anti-chaos, the forces of chaos. Everything gives me, it always gives me Starship Trooper vibes, where it's like, you're saying chaos because you don't understand what's going on and you want somebody to hate it with you.
Right.
No one's hurting anybody.
So because of the chaotic downfall of civilization from Zargon worship, right?
Sure.
The
everyone getting fucking turned on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Sure.
Barbarian warriors stormed over the walls and destroyed the city. The only people of Cynidicea who survived its destruction were those who had fled underground to the vast catacombs under the city.
To worship Zargon.
Yes. Led by the priests of Zargon, the Cynidiceans tried to rebuild their city. The surviving people based their new life around a huge underground lake fed by channels cut through solid rock. Built in the reign of King Alexander, the lake had been the city's water supply. On its shores, the people grew mushrooms and other edible fungi. They built houses using
they did.
Above. Oh, yeah.
That's what got us into this mess, was all those mushrooms and edible fungi.
Yeah. So because of this, the Cynidiceans moved underground. Their civilization was lost, and they mostly indulged in Zargon worship, which for some reason also involved getting lost in weird dreams that have begun to slowly replace reality.
All right. All the puzzle pieces have fallen into place.
Yep.
The scales are off my eyes. I fully get it. So everyone is on psilocybin.
Yep. In a very BioShock way, this is, you're landing in Rapture. You're like, what the fuck is going on? You're finding a couple of little signs and hints of what happened. And then finally, someone tells you what the hell happened and why they're in the fight for their lives and why you need to, would you kindly do them a favor?
Right.
So you're potentially going to side with the Gorms out of convenience, if nothing else.
I don't know. I'm looking for Zargon.
Yeah. Even if you're not eating the poutine, you may decide that, like, Cynidicea has got at least he's got a good thing going on.
Sure.
Siding with him is better than nothing.
Fair. And they don't seem to be that lame. Now, I reserve judgment, and I would probably try to slow roll Cynidicea to be like, listen, sure, Calgary's a great town, but I want to explore my options a little bit. I'm not quite ready to settle down with a post-apocalyptic faction, right. But you'll be the first person I call.
Also, to follow the Fallout vibes, we have a we've coded them Roman Empire as with Marcus Aurelius here.
Right.
When Caesar's Legion was coded Roman Legion with Caesar.
Right. Yeah, it's you are 100% correct with the comparing it to
Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, because right when that you have the Roman. I've never, to be honest, I've never played Fallout New Vegas, but I've watched the H Bomber Guy review that's like 2.5 hours long of Fallout New Vegas, so I know all about it and I've seen all the things that happen. And this is very much like a what team are you going to get on? And we've already got our Roman legionnaire sort of stand-ins. All I'm looking for now is some like creepy mutant type people, and then like your grimdark Brotherhood of Steel guys, and then we'll have the trifecta of the factions I can remember from the last time I watched that video.
Yep. Every time I think about New Vegas, I get that same, I should call her. Like, I should download it, you know?
Yeah,
I should play it again. It's been years.
yeah, I haven't played it. There's a lot of those games that I've uh, I've been kind of looking at wistfully. But you know what? Wait long enough, they'll remaster it or whatever and add a bunch of new stuff into it, and it'll be like brand new again.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned earlier, one of the first things you came across were stairs that lead to the next tier of the dungeon. So eventually,
Hmm.
you may
Hmm.
decide to venture further, or the Gorms may bring you with them as they head deeper into the dungeon. So as
Sure.
you head down to the tier underneath, this is tier 3. You're following these stairs down. You come across a hallway that kind of leads you back towards the middle of the pyramid. There is a secret door that your pocket elf may come across.
Hmm.
This is a secret door that leads into the back of a storeroom filled with crates and
Mm.
barrels. There are large brown beetles about 3 feet long breaking into the crates and beetles. These are
Barrels.
crates and barrels. Yeah, these are oil beetles. They can squirt,
Oh.
yeah, they can squirt an oily fluid at one victim up to 5 feet away. If the oil hits, it raises painful blisters, causing the victim to fight with a penalty of -2 on their to hit rolls until they've been hit with cure light wounds or until 24 hours have passed. If the spell is used to cure the
Oh.
blisters, it will not also cure the points of damage.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. So these are like bombardier beetles almost.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is another, like, let's say you just like took the stairs immediately rather than
Uh-huh.
following around to our Brotherhood of Gorm. If you deal with the beetles, you hit the jackpot. These crates are full of dried food and the casks
Oh.
are full of wine.
Hey.
Now, granted,
Yeah.
if you're dehydrated, wine is the last thing you want to find.
For sure, yeah.
And the food is dried after all. But hey, food you've got
Food
taken
is
care of
food.
now.
Food is food, yeah. I mean, water is a more pressing need, biologically speaking. But I mean, food is food. You can stock up and then potentially like leave some breadcrumbs to get back here when you run out. At the very
Yeah.
least, fill yourself where you are. So yeah.
It has a very keep on the borderlands. This is the storeroom that has a secret door in the back, and the other
Yep.
faction comes and shops
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the
Shops
spoils of the
from it.
one, comes
Yeah.
in with their Trader Joe's bag. Uh, so if you continue to kind of loop around this hallway and don't go through the secret door into the grocery store that you just found, uh,
Mhm.
you will come across an interesting feature at the center of this layer of the dungeon, which is a rotating hallway. There's a door that just seems to like lead into another section of hallway, and when you cross through the door on the other side, you're just in more hallway. It's like, why is it these doors in the center? And that's because there is a turntable that this central section of hallway sits on, and it rotates around and around, opening up different passageways depending on its orientation. Imagine like a room, the walls are fully covered and there's an opening, and then as the room rotates, you can see different doors in the openings. Make sense?
Okay, so you're aware that it's rotating. It's not I was thinking like
Yes. No,
rotating
it's not
and
hidden.
gotcha.
No, no, no.
Gotcha.
This is on the wall inside each end of this revolving passage is a row of 8 buttons. They match the buttons in the hall. So really, it's not like the room is like a big wide round cylinder and you can see all around it. It's the hall has these buttons and there's a door on either end, and when you press the buttons, the passage swings. and it turns and spins on that turntable.
Okay.
So you currently begin with a straight up and down 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock orientation, but you can rotate this clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on which button you press, in order to line up the entry door with another of the 8 doors on its circumference. So like
Right.
you could spin left 1, you could spin right 2, and it will line you up with one of 8 different passageways, depending on
So
where it lands.
do you have to get into the hallway and then spin it?
Yes,
Okay. So you
because the
basically
buttons are
get in
inside the
here and
hallway.
then it's like a I don't know, this makes sense in my brain, but it probably doesn't make sense when I say it out loud to people. It's kind of like an elevator that goes sideways.
Yes, I would say it's like the moving staircases in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah. For
Only
sure.
you have a
Okay.
lot more control over this.
Yeah, you have the buttons. Are there symbols or markings? You said they were colored. So they're
Uh,
color coded to the different doors?
there are symbols on them, and the symbols are
Ah.
related to cardinal directions.
Oh, okay.
S- So if you press the and there is a list of the symbols, so you could potentially draw them out for your players or describe the symbols and have them draw them
Mhm.
out. Because especially
Mhm.
this is an older school dungeon crawl. You don't
Sure.
like draw things for the players most of the time. You describe and they have to like interpret or they have to write it down and keep up with it.
Right. They're the ones making a map. You're the one
Exactly.
just telling them which ways that they can go. They're not moving a mini along a large dry erase hex grid.
Exactly. So because of this, you could like describe the symbols and maybe they screw the symbols up or
Sure.
whatever. But that's not necessarily like the intent of this. The intent of this is when you press the button for the symbol for south, it swings around so that the entry door is facing the south. If you hit the symbol for the west, it swings around until it's facing the west.
Gotcha. Okay.
And players that eventually can put this together through trial and error, and they can figure out, oh, we need to go here. We'll swing this around until it's facing here.
Gotcha. Yeah, interesting.
So that's kind of this central. Because of that, like the players who mess around with this may wind up going in lots of different directions, as opposed to kind of circling around the way that we did in the floor above us.
Right.
We didn't hit the rest of the rooms that are on the upper floor, but that's because they're of no consequence. They're mostly
Sure.
abandoned. There's a couple of monsters. One of them is a pair of geckos eating one of the crazy Cynidicians. Um,
Uh, oh, at least see. I was
just munching
thinking that
away.
that is a very funny visual. See, I was thinking that they may be getting along with like they've kind of learned to coexist, but no, clearly, you get too close to the gecko, you become you're gonna need some insurance.
No, I'm
Ew.
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh. So anyway,
Did you know we
nice.
bundle life insurance with your home and auto?
You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that life insurance.
So, you know what? I did tell like there is one other room that is of interest from the level that I did miss, and that is the
Uh,
fireworks storeroom. We talked about the priests in old Cynidicea would like use
yeah,
tricks and things
yeah.
like that. They
Oh,
used
okay. Very,
fireworks.
very Wizard of Oz.
Yes, they used fireworks to replicate miracles.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So to pull off
So,
like crazy light shows and things like that.
so fake gods meet a real god who comes down or says that they're a god, but who knows? It could be a fake god. You've just got two fake gods hanging around.
It feels a lot like people in the desert needing something, like make their own gods, right?
Yeah. But there's clearly somebody behind the scenes. Alexander, maybe King Alexander. There's clearly somebody behind the scenes that isn't a true believer because they're directing these things to happen.
Or it serves as a civic function that just
Oh
has to exist,
yeah.
right? Like
Sure.
in a very Discworldy kind of way, in a very Terry Pratchett kind of way, you know, people make the gods they need. And
Right.
we need someone to represent truth and justice. And that person needs to be a warrior because they defend justice. So Gorm
Sure.
exists. uh, here's a crazy looking monster that comes along out of nowhere and is destroying everything that's related to our other gods. Well, the only thing that could do that is another god, so we treat it like another god. And we're in
Right. And
the middle of the desert, and it's not like we're surrounded by other influences from other cultures. Maybe that's part of the reason why you
and it
could
is
say,
very much law versus chaos, right? The
"Oh
law
yeah, yeah, yeah."
of someone has created these relatively standard gods for us to worship, then we can be civic minded people and work together for the good of yada yada yada. And then Zargon rides in on his skateboard and plays a sick riff on the electric guitar, and it says, "Hey kids, do you like violence?" It gives everyone drugs, and it's like, "Oh no, what are we doing? No, you need to follow the gods and go to church on Sunday." So yeah, it's very much law versus chaos. I get it. I get it.
So the fireworks room in the second tier has, the storing of these fireworks that the priest would use for miracles.
Mhm.
There are also a pair of sprites hiding out in this room. Uh,
Hmm.
they are friendly. They will chatter merrily if approached in a friendly manner. They are interested in everything, but nothing holds their attention for long. They won't join the party. The DM may use them to hint about what lies ahead. If attacked, 5 of the sprites acting together can cast one curse spell, which will take the form of a magical practical joke, such as making the fighter's armor turn into a pile of rust or gluing a character's boots to the floor.
That's fun.
So the players may run into a bunch of desert sprites who mess with them if they're uh disrespectful. And
Right,
then
right.
they find a whole bunch of fireworks.
So are there I dare I ask, are there
Uh-huh.
stats for these fireworks?
Um yes, actually, but not stats the way you would think. Any usable crate of fireworks is worth 100 gold in resale.
Sure.
Uh, there is only a 1 in 1d6 chance that a crate of fireworks is still usable after all this time.
Right.
A usable crate would contain 1 to 6 charges of flash powder, 2 to 8 Roman candles, 1 to 4 skyrockets, and 3 to 12 strings of small firecrackers. The DM should only allow the firecrackers to make a lot of smoke, bright lights, and noise. They should not
Okay.
do any damage or cause blindness.
Okay. That's fair. Still fun to have around and to potentially utilize for God, I can't imagine. There's somebody who's going to be looking for an excuse to use these firecrackers.
Yeah,
Every problem becomes becomes solvable by firecracker.
you celebrate Gorm's Day,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna have a hell of a Gorbs day this year, guys.
right? But yeah, light firecrackers on one end of the room, draw the attention to some folks, and then run
Mm,
in after they run off. So if you head into this rotating passageway down on tier 3, Jeremy,
uh-huh.
let's say that you're picking buttons at random. Pick a 1 through
Sure.
8. Where does your party wind up going?
We'll go six, big six.
3, 4, 5. Gotcha. You will head. The thing will spin around, and you will be heading directly west. Uh, Heading west leads actually directly into the next faction, the the Magi of the Usamigaras.
I called it. We have magic folks. Oh wait, are they ladies?
So the first thing you're going to see when you exit the corridor is the corridor that you enter has been painted black with tiny white stars to resemble the night sky. The door on
Okay.
the far wall is iron with a star carved into it. If you open it, the bell begins to ring that is attached to that door.
So you
And you
walked
will
into
have
a bodega.
Yeah. You will have entered the
Pling.
Chamber of the Magi. Well, very likely you're on or on Bourbon Street, and you've walked into a tarot reading.
Yeah, right, right.
Along the north and west walls of this room hang a large tapestry showing the major constellations. You have interrupted a religious service. 13 figures in rainbow colored robes and silver masks stand in front of a stone, star shaped altar. The masks match the face of the middle statue on the pyramid, the winged child. The centermost figure of the group wears a silver crown. I'm sorry, it's a Scientology meeting.
That's what it sounds like. This definitely sounds like if you ever watched a Scientology documentary where it's like, once you become clear level 7,
Oh my god.
then yeah, everyone puts on the rainbow robes and the silver masks and you stand around with the Star Child.
Yep. Do you ever play Watch Dogs at all? Watch Dogs 1 or 2?
I did not know.
Yeah. Kind of hackery kind of game, right?
Yeah, yeah, I remember
the
when
prestige
when
of
it
it,
came out. Yeah, you're like the super hacker. You can control a bunch of electronics and shit with your phone. And
right.
yeah.
In the second game, you're a young guy, and there is a Scientology joke mission. I actually really enjoyed it. You hack your way into this rich guy's basement, and you discover alien artifacts, and there's this whole museum vibe around it, and they're all lit in this like special rocks and things. And then he's like getting closer to him, and up until this point, it's been surrounded in the Illuminati, the secret society kind of trappings. And then he like accidentally touches one of them, and it just like pops over, and he's like, "Man, these are fake. They're movie props." And he does a whole video of him just smashing them and knocking them over. That's like one of my favorite Scientology digs.
That's cute.
That I've seen. But anyway, Chamber of the Magi is where you are at, and you've just come just in the middle of tea. The worshippers are the Magi of Usamigaras. 12 of them are first level magic users. 12 is actually an important number, and you'll find out why in a minute. The one in the silver crown is Auriga Circanos, chief mage of Usamigaras. Each mage has silver lines forming a star symbol on the palm of their right hand. It is made up of men and women in this faction. Stout Auriga Circanos appears to be jolly and fun-loving. His mirth actually hides a ruthless personality. He is a fanatic who will do anything to promote the cult of Usamigaras and his own power. He tries his best to hide this under a pleasant manner. While he will welcome the party, he will also do his best to ensure that he personally retains the most power in the cult. However, if it comes to a choice between the Magi of Usamigaras or the personal power of Auriga Circanos, he will choose personal power.
Oh, yeah. Very realistic, this module, in some ways. Very realistic.
So why does the 12 matter in the 12 members of the Magi? Well, because every one of the 12 has prepared one of the 12 first level spells in the D&D basic rules.
Oh, that's fun. I was thinking like constellations or something. That's way better.
Nope. They've got, each one of them has prepared one of the 12 spells, and if the players are hostile, they will use all of them. They'll
so
just
you
cast,
could, you
they
could,
will cast
could,
them all at once,
every
like
single
Gizmo Duck
first
setting
level
off every
spell
button at once.
Every single first, so you would get hit by every single first layer spell or first
all the
level
ones
spell.
Like all the ones that'll attack. Like there's Charm Person, Detect Magic, Floating Disc, Hold Portal, Light,
Floating
Magic
disc.
Missile, right? Protection from Evil, Read Languages, Read Magic, Shield Sleep, and Ventriloquism. So you have like 9 of the people there like flinging attack spells, and 3 of them in the back are trying to put on a kabuki show.
One of them speaking German, the other one's trying to move things around. The other one's making the second one speak without moving their mouth, you know.
The secretarial pool of the army is in the back of the corner. So they will use all their spells. Auriga Circanos has the spells Detect Magic, Hold Portal, and Phantasmal Force. Those with attack spells will cast them at the party. Those with the defense spells will cast them. They will all attack the party hand to hand, though Auriga will run through the door and cast Hold Portal on it if things are going badly.
Well, sure.
So if the party doesn't attack, then they can learn more about the Magi of Usamigaras. They're another cult just like the Brotherhood of Gorm. They're trying to restore the lost glory of Cynidicea. All current members are Cynidiceans. They have the pale skin and the white hair. The Magi, however, are willing to let outsiders join. If the players cut the mustard, only magic users, elves, thieves, and clerics may become full members. Other classes may only become lesser members.
Right.
Full members will be Full members will be initiated by placing their right hand on the center of the altar, palm down, and then reciting the pledge. I, character's name here,
Insert name here.
right, right, do hereby pledge to serve and obey the great Usamigaras. When they say the name Usamigaras, a 5-pointed star will be magically burned into the character's palm. Full members will be given silver masks, daggers, and rainbow-colored robes, the outfit of the order.
Sure.
Lesser members will not be initiated, but will be given silver rings carved with Usamigaras' face. Just like the Gorms, they have more stashed away in the underground city, and it takes about half a day to go get them. But the chambers of the Magi are another place that players can potentially join and find themselves in a safe area.
Right. Same sort of vibe. If Gorn was not your cup of tea, or if you're an elf, then maybe your vibe is more matched by Usamigara and his rainbow, or their rainbow colored robes and silver masks.
Yep. Stars and rainbows and spells
clovers and blue moons.
Basically, yeah. So because of that, like the western side of this level is mostly made up of the different things for the Magi that they need. Quarters, the Chief Magi's quarters. He has what every aspiring D&D player wants: a wolf captured as a cub and trained to serve as a pet and guard dog.
Yeah, can confirm. That would be dope.
Yep. There's an abandoned storeroom that is overgrown with mold and yellow mold. If the players go snooping around, but mostly, yeah, this side of the tunnel of the tier has the Magi through here. So you found our second of the 3 factions that may help the players. So let's say you go back to the tunnel here. Do you want to head to the northwest, northeast, or southeast?
Let's go southeast.
Hitting the button, you go swinging around the turntable, spinning around until you hit the southeast. Here, you are approaching a long corridor that ends with a door. There's an iron door at the end of the corridor with 3 lightning bolts engraved on it. Lightning bolts, by now, you should know, have to deal with Gorm.
That's right, yeah.
And this is a door guarding the ceremonial chamber of Gorm inside. When anyone comes within 10 feet of the door, it glows with a crackling blue light. The door is locked. Once the words, "By the great god Gorm," are spoken, the door stops glowing and it's safe to enter. Anyone who touches it without saying the proper words automatically takes 1 to 4 points of electrical damage. The door lock can be picked by a thief willing to take damage while trying to pick the lock.
I like that.
Inside, you find the ceremonial chambers of Gorm. Walls, ceiling of this floor have been painted sky blue. A golden marble altar surrounded by golden candle holders and braziers rests along the middle of the east wall. On the top of the altar is a small stone statue of a bearded man throwing a lightning bolt. Next to the statue rests a golden bowl. New members of the Brotherhood of Gorm are allowed in here, but non-members aren't. Initiation into the Brotherhood is simple. Character dresses in a white robe, ritually washes their hands in the bowl, which contain water. They draw their weapon and kneel before Gorm's altar, and then swears in law, which is the language of lawful creatures.
They speak law.
I assume it's meant to be like a derivation of Latin.
Yeah, one would think. Or you're literally just reciting city code.
As opposed to chaos, which is scatting.
Yeah. Exactly.
Skibbity bop bop Ohio Riz. It's like, no. That person's not allowed in here ever. They have to swear to promote the ideals of brotherhood and to promote the worship of Gorm. The new member receives a tattoo of a blue lightning bolt on their right shoulder.
Oh, sure.
There is a secret entrance to this room from the Grand Master of Gorm's chambers. There's a secret door that off one of the walls leads to a ladder that goes up into that guy's room. So you may be led down here from that room, potentially, in order to take part in the ceremony without going near the Magi. 'Tis a silly place. So from here, there is only one other faction left to meet, And if you head to the east or northeast, you will run into the warrior maidens of Madarua.
Okay. We found the ladies.
So one way that you can get there is by passing the Arch of the Warrior Maidens. There are two 10-foot tall statues of women figures. The fighters wear masks with the face of the female statue on top of the pyramid, the one that you saw wearing holding the sheath
Uh-huh.
and the spear. Two statues stand with spears outstretched to form an arch. The only way down the corridor appears to be in single file under the crossed spears. And I want to point out there's an illustration of those statues in here with with what looks like a dwarf who is standing in front of him with the biggest shit-eating grin on his face and holding a thumbs up towards the camera, towards the viewer. And I
That's
don't
funny.
know if it's trying to say, like, yes, it's clear we can go, or he looked at the statues, turned around and gives a thumbs up and just said, boobies.
I'm sure, considering I will go and look at this photo later, but I'm assuming that considering the time period of this, that the art of the warrior maidens is, we'll say, fanciful. we'll call it fanciful.
You know what? As far as fan service goes, not really.
Really? I
No,
am surprised. I am legitimately surprised.
Nah, it could have gone like really rough, and it really didn't. Of course,
Okay.
considering I will say I believe this is a post Silver Princess artwork, they may have decided to make some choices.
Yeah, well, I mean, because even in Silver Princess, even the Silver Princess that actually saw light of day, there are some real choices that have been made.
Yeah.
That yeah, very 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 interesting. But yeah, you may be right. After the Silver Princess debacle, which would have been long enough ago, but not so long ago that it would still be fresh in the mind when they were building this.
Yep.
Then yeah, okay. Well, hey, you know what? I stand corrected. Good for you, module. Good for you.
I will say though, I'm less interested in rating the relative hotness of the fan service going on here than just cackling at the shitty grin on this guy's face
For
and how happy he apparently is that they've gotten here. So here's the thing: passing through the arch, there will be a hidden chime that will alert the warrior maidens that someone is approaching their shrine. The chime will also tell them how many people are in the party.
Okay, so
they
they've
get
got
a heads
some
up
skills.
of party size. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So if players continue down this hall, they will enter the chamber of Madarua. The door to the room is locked. If they can't unlock the door, it can be battered down in one turn. If it is battered down, warrior maidens in room 23 will come to investigate. Near the northeast corner of this room is an altar covered in a green and white cloth. On the altar sits a 3-foot tall statue of a woman holding a sword and a sheaf of wheat. To each side, the statue burns a large white candle. In front of the altar itself, incense burns in 3 small braziers. White drapes hang on all the walls, and the floor is covered by a green carpet. The room is dust-free and has been scrubbed clean. Except for the ceremonial equipment, the room appears empty. One of the first pieces that it notes here is the warrior maidens of Madarua keep their shrine clean, with candles and incense burning all year round. They will hear from the other rooms deeper in if anyone is entering or coming into these rooms, because there are listening holes that have been drilled into the walls, and they will investigate any loud noises. If party members desecrate the shrine, they will attack.
By desecrate, you mean like not taking their shoes off before they walk inside?
Not taking the shoes off.
Because that's how I'd play it.
I can imagine trying to loot anything on the altar, put out the candles, steal the incense.
Sure.
So immediately south of here, through a secret door, is the treasure room of the warrior maidens. It appears to be empty except for a large stone vault with a keyhole in it. It looks like the stone slabs making up the vault are too heavy to be moved. Characters that are standing in front of the keyhole and try to open the vault and fail will be hit by a large stone block falling from the ceiling.
Ouch.
Yep. In a Looney Tunes
They,
fashion, 2 to 12 points of damage is awaiting someone who decides to fuck around and find out.
So these are warrior maidens, but they're like they seem to be like the most technically advanced / like rogue-esque of any of the, because like the Gorms would challenge you to a duel. The
Gorms put killer bees in their room.
Well, I mean, they were. I just assumed that was incidental. That was where they get all their dope ass honey.
Yeah.
The magi are going to all send their one spell at you.
They're going to throw the literal book at you. The literal first level spell book.
Literal, like the first page of the spell list. You're getting everything. But yeah, it's interesting that these are the, oh yeah, we've trapped everything. We've made, fascinating.
It could be that they've just taken occupancy and they've turned the space into what they want. And this could have been for some other purpose before that point. But
they saw all these traps, or they reset all these traps after some unfortunate warrior maiden triggered it, and now they're just using it to their advantage.
Yep.
Either or. I choose to believe in the skill and ability of women.
Well, that's a good thing, because that's the highlighting part of this faction. If you enter into the room to the south, which you could have gotten directly to from the turntable, you will find 10 women seated around a table, all wearing bronze chainmail over green tunics. Their faces are covered by bronze masks with the same face of the woman whose statue is atop the pyramid. All of these are warrior maidens of Madarua. Their leader is Pandora, the tallest and oldest of the group. She has a +1 sword, a +2 bonus in combat from strength, and as the other leaders do, raises the morale of warrior maidens to 9, which means you have to roll higher than 9 on a morale check to force them to break. She also carries the key to the treasure vault. Pandora prides herself on being a simple fighter. She claims that swift action is the best solution to any problem. When in doubt, attack, she often says.
Oh, really? I thought you had added that in there yourself. No, that's literally her mantra.
That's textual. When in doubt, attack. It's like,
I believe
it's time for your, bath, ma'am. We'll take your armor now. When in doubt, attack. Yes, we understand. When in doubt, attack. Okay, we're sitting down. Should we say grace to Maradura for this meal? When in doubt, attack. Does that mean I can take the potatoes now? Is that what we're?
It's all, yeah.
Can we skip and go straight to the dinner?
I like that she has something in common with Stone Cold Steve Austin, which just like, are you happy? Attack. If you are you mad? Attack. Are you? Do you want to be funny? Attack. It's like it's nice to know the answer before the question is asked. Gotta say.
Hey, what do you think about this statue on this altar? I think we could take that. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna. And the door slowly rotates open. There's a silhouette on the other side. The doom music starts. She comes in with a steel chair.
Glass breaking. Oh, love it.
So characters can join this faction. If the players don't attack and they want to talk, they may find the warrior maidens of Madarua are another group trying to restore the lost glories of Cynidicea. All members are Cynidicean female fighters, which means underneath the tunics and the masks, they're all very pale, very white-haired, large-eyed, infravisioned, underground people. But they are still warrior maidens. If they try to join, only female fighters, female dwarves, female halflings, and female elves can become full members of the warrior maidens. All others may only become lesser members.
So in 1980, when this was being played, or 82?
82.
In 1982, when this was being played, nobody in your party was going to join the warrior maidens. Stereotypically, I jest.
So characters who want to become full members will undergo a short initiation ceremony. They draw their sword, prick a finger on it, smear blood from their finger on the sword blade. Pretty hardcore. The sword is then
Sick,
placed on the
sick.
altar of Madarua. The character swears to uphold the honor of Madarua, even with their own blood if necessary. And finally,
Okay.
a small sickle is branded, not tattooed, branded on the inside of the
Damn.
initiate's left wrist.
Madarua goes hard.
Full members will be given bronze masks and green robes.
Yeah. And
Lesser
they've got a better
members-
color scheme than the rest of the folks
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
God, if it weren't for that pesky not being a lady, this I think may have been my faction.
Folks
Stone
get down,
Cold
yeah.
Steve Austin is the leader, and it's all about fighting and fighting some more.
I would never simp, but for Pandora.
Yeah, this is a Pandora sub podcast for sure.
My queen commands me. Listen, it says she's the tallest of the fighters. We might have big woman fighter syndrome on our hands. We might be dealing with muscle mommies. We don't know that.
I mean,
we don't know.
I don't know. I think it's probably safe to say we're dealing with at least a couple muscle mommies.
If you've ever kept Karlach in your party for the entire campaign of Baldur's Gate 3, you might be Maradura material. So Madarua, these fighters to make up the other kind of faction. So now you've met all three of these groups, and some of you may have decided to throw in with one group or the other. But it does feel a little like high school-ish that you've hit, or a little Harry Potter-ish that you've hit these three factions right off the very jump of this dungeon. And that's partly because this goes back to what you had asked earlier on. How do I feel about adding in things like exhaustion, about food, about whatever? I like when they're creative. I like when they are introduced early as a problem to be solved and account for, but when you're smart and account for it, it stops being a problem. So this feels like another goad that really pushes you to no, I really want to join these factions. I don't just want to maybe hedge my bets and maybe just not piss them off. No, I want to be a part of this because that's food, water, and a place to stay.
Exactly. I love the idea. I think it's so clever of using that environmental stress, of using the hook of get rid of these negatives that you're experiencing, get your character back to full fighting spirit, but you have to participate. No lone wolves. No, I prefer to work alone. You have to participate. You can't be too cool for school.
No chaotic assholes stealing from all three factions. Now,
exactly.
If you wanted to come in here and be chaotic assholes and steal from all three factions and rile them up against you, you 100% can do it.
100%.
The directions for the factions towards the beginning of the module note that the factions do not get along. Each faction is sure that only their members know the proper way to restore the lost greatness of Cynidicea. Often, when members of different factions meet, they argue or fight. It is possible for the three factions to cooperate, but such cooperation is rare. It makes it very textually clear that the factions will never get along unless the players not only engage with them, but actively work to try to get them to work together. It specifically says the DM should avoid forcing the action to a preset conclusion, and the actions of the players must be able to make a difference. So finding a way to get these three factious groups to work together could be a long-term goal for the party if they want to, or pitting them against one another in order to benefit from the chaos is also a perfectly viable option should they so desire.
It's a fascinating way of using the design of the dungeon and giving you something to do as a player while ensuring that the story continues to move forward and giving you a lot of different things to do, which you don't find a lot in dungeon crawls, or it's a little bit more rare in a dungeon crawl. And this is super, especially when it's not who do you kill? Because usually that's sort of the way it ends up, is like, well, you kill these things first, or you go to this room first and you find the thing before you find the clue. That's really as far as it goes. This is really like, you could come in here and feasibly not fight any of these guys and have your reputation with them and move that up and down and do the whole thing, which I think would be fascinating and super interesting.
Right. And plenty of room for the DM to like add in some foiling. Like this is where it's okay, are we, because this is also to think, how high a threat do we want to make things like
Right.
the other wandering monsters? Is it something that
Right.
maybe I want the priests of Zargon? Because you could run into the priests of Zargon as wandering monsters. One of the options,
Okay.
yeah, one of the options for the Cynidicea wandering monsters that you could run into is a priest of Zargon with 12 fanatic followers. They are on a holy quest and they will insist that the party joins them. The priest will try to trick the party and take them prisoner. So it is
Mm.
possible that the players run into uh, followers of Zargon and hear about Zargon outside of the factions. But it's also very possible that like they find themselves way in over their head dealing with the cultists and the other monsters that make up the dungeon. And fighting with the factions makes it like a little easier at dealing with wandering monsters and surviving as they figure out what they're going to do. But certainly bringing all the factions together is one of the possible ways that they could like make this place a little bit more secure and continue exploring down into the depths below this, because we've only gone 3 levels so far. We're almost finished with this 3rd tier, but there's a lot more to this temple than just these 5 tiers as presented. So let's finish off tier 3. If you've
Mhm.
joined the factions or not, there's a couple places you could still explore. The northwest section of this tier has an abandoned ceremonial chamber where a previous explorer met a very grisly fate. This is a ruined chapel of some kind, an abandoned ceremonial chamber. There are tattered tapestries hanging from the walls. Uh, all of the items here are carved out of wood with a holy symbol that looks like an eye. Next to the altar, there is a 6-foot long lizard with wide flaps of skin between its legs. It says the giant lizard is a Draco. It has a fly speed, I assume because it can glide from those
Yeah, it's
flaps
like
between its
a
legs.
yeah, it's like a flying squirrel, but a lizard.
Yeah,
Wild.
especially in the desert, like hot thermals being able to
Yeah, yeah,
carry
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah,
Be-
jump from the top of a dune and sweet. I like that a lot, actually.
Behind the altar is the remains of a human thief. The body has a full canteen and a sack with 400 gold and 2 gems worth 100 gold each. The candlesticks, bowl, and holy symbol are made from rare teak wood, worth 50, 25, and 25 gold, respectively. So you could
Mm.
loot a little bit of extra stuff and some resources out of here. There is also you could enter. There's a couple rooms that you could enter either through secret doors to the south or by following just the passageways through normal doors to the north and west. And if you do,
Mm.
you may come across a water trap. This is a 20-foot wide by 60-foot wide, 30-foot, no, 10, 20, 30. Yeah, 20 by 30 room, 2 squares by 3 squares. And when a human sized character crosses the room, the DM rolls a 1d6. On a roll of 1 or 2, so a 1/3 chance, the trap is sprung. Both doors slam shut, and water pours into the area from the vents high up the walls. Unless the trapped characters force open a door within 3 tries or think of some way to breathe, they will drown.
Wow. Ironic to be in a desert and be fighting against food, not having water, only to drown
Yep.
in the first bit of water. You want water? I got water for you.
Too much water. And
Yep.
after they drown or the place fills up with water, it'll wait a couple of rounds and then the walls will fall away and the drains will open and the trap will automatically reset. If a
Sure.
character opens a door while the water is pouring in, the water will rush into the next room, which is a secret room. It looks empty except for a large wicker basket in the middle of the room. Guess what's inside this wicker basket in the middle of a
Big
desert temple?
giant snake.
No, 2 giant snakes.
Okay, well, All right, I'll
We
give it
got
to
2
you.
nope ropes in here.
You scamp.
A
I love
pair
it.
of 5-foot-long pit vipers.
Woo, yeah.
The bite of these snakes is poisonous, and pit vipers always attack first due to their
Mm-hmm.
quickness. No initiative roll is needed.
Wow. Yeah, these guys are getting you.
Inside the wicker basket are 3,000 silver pieces and 5 gems worth 10, 50, 100, 100, and 500 gold.
Wow.
Yep. So there is a note here that if like the door is open and the water pours in, water will rush into room with the snakes, overturning the basket,
Mm-hmm.
freeing the pit vipers inside. So you might
Mm.
like accidentally have pit vipers coiling through the water towards you in this flooding room.
I can imagine a party getting stuck in there, managing to get out the very last minute before, with their lips up near the ceiling, managing to get it out at the very last minute. And then as the water rushes out and as they feel like, oh, okay, we've done it, we've escaped, you just see a little shadow of a snake.
Yep.
No, what happened? What happened?
You see that little ploop of them going into the water on the side. You're like,
Yep.
fuck it. So heading to the kind of opposite corner that you just explored, there is another abandoned ceremonial chamber wrecked by the followers of Zargon. This room looks like a ruin.
darn followers of Zargon, always wrecking our ceremonial chambers.
Stupid Zargonites. This room looks like a ruined chapel. It's been looted and deliberately wrecked. The stone altar has been smashed and no ceremonial equipment can be seen. The word Zargon has been scrawled on one wall in large letters.
Zargon was here.
Yep.
I was about to say, I bet there's some fun graffiti in there.
Zargon is rad.
Yes. Someone drew the Grateful Dead bear like 8 times. Weird.
Zargon fucked Gorm's mom. I'm trying to think of, we mentioned Canada earlier. I'm trying to think of all the Shorzy memes about hockey players' moms
Yeah.
for what Zargon says that he did to Gorm's mom.
Oh, God, that's
so
good.
There is a section of this room that has been hinged, so it'll swing down into a ramp when someone steps on it. This will lead you down into the tier lower in the pyramid. So we've met the Maradurans, or the Madaruas.
You're going to get it eventually.
These friggin' names. The warrior maids of Madarua. We've met
Madarua, yeah.
Yeah, we've met the warrior maidens. We've met the magi of Usamigara. We've met the brotherhood of Gorm. Any particular feelings about these factions, one or the other, that you feel you may be drawn to?
I will. Okay. So Gorm, I like. I think they're like my. If we're porridge, Gorm is a little too cold, but close. The magi, I think, are. I'm not getting. There's not a sell there for me. I don't have a really strong call to action. It's like, why do I want to join you guys? To get a dope star tattoo and learn one level 1 spell? I don't know. I like the Warrior Maidens of Madarua. I'm a fan. I would have posters of Pandora in my room, but I can't join them because I am a fella. Much to my great shame and chagrin.
Yeah.
So I guess at the end of the day, I'm probably not joining anybody. And if I am, I'm trying to figure out how to be like a second class citizen in all 3 of them. Like maybe collect all 3 and become a lesser member of at least the 2 that I can become lesser members of. At least then they know that I'm cool, even if I might not drink the Kool-Aid, but I'll hold a cup, right?
You are that high schooler that is in the like second tier, all the way in the back of the of every high school club, because it got you out of class to go on all the trips and no one caught on.
Exactly. I'm an FFA. I'm an FHA. Like I'm in all the Fs and the As.
Yes,
right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So the Warrior Maidens also remind me a little bit of the anime Gate or the manga Gate. uh, which is like a weird isekai that's also kind of propaganda for the Japanese self-defense force. Uh, it is the JSDF go into this other world because Roman-looking soldiers and monsters came out of a gate that appeared in the middle of Tokyo and attacked people. So now you're looking from the view of a uh, otaku military officer who is trying to lead this expeditionary force into this isekai world. And there's a group of knights that are female knights, the Rose Order of Knights. And that's who the warrior maidens kind of remind me of. And I was like, yeah,
Sure.
just call me Yoji Itami. I'm gonna be supporting them.
they're I'm their ride or die. I'm not going anywhere.
They have a clear, like, we're just here to fight. We're here keeping things secure. We're here keeping things clean. We're very straightforward about this. You know what? I find that very refreshing. I tried listening to Cynidicea earlier, but after 30 minutes of lecturing about sophist philosophy, I was like, nope, I'm done.
It's interesting to me, speaking of the Madaruans, it's interesting to me that if you haven't listened to Palace of the Silver Princess, in Palace of the Silver Princess, there is a country that is mentioned that is a sort of role reversal. It's like a fascist state run by women, and men are seemingly subjugated and women rule, right? It's interesting to me that the same guy that took that module and changed that portion of it ends up in his very next module that comes out the next year, ends up with a group of effectively warrior maidens, no boys allowed sort of thing. It's interesting that you get them one right after the other, and that it's the same writer is sort of involved in both.
Yeah. I like the interplay of the factions. I like giving them very clear identities, and I like that they're not super over the top stereotypical.
Sure, absolutely. I did want to say I really do appreciate that about this module, because if you're trying to if you're looking at this from the outside and if you're just betting, right?
Yep.
The good odds are going to be there's going to be some real problems in some stuff that go on in here. We're talking desert, we're talking pyramids. There's a lot of 1980s does not hold upness that we could be dealing with. And generally speaking, it seems to be relative, at the very least, generic enough that no one's going to be like, you're really like, you're kind of boiling it down to its absolute most stereotypical parts. So, a big fan of that. That's nice.
Yep. So that takes us through the upper three layers. We have met our factions. We've likely befriended, or maybe even have gone whole hog and joined one of our three factions. And we are gung-ho.
I've got my secret scythe tattoo that I somehow managed to join.
We are gung-ho on restoring the might of old Cynidicea. So we have to now explore further in order to find those wily Zargonites, as well as this underground city that we've begun to hear so much about. So our secret ramp leads us into the fourth tier. This is where we are getting into the real depths of the pyramid. You could kind of consider these lower levels as almost a bit of a buffer zone between the factions that we have come across in our kind of introductory tiers of this pyramid and the kind of hidden depths, the underground city that the Cynidiceans have been living in. This is where you're going to run into more of the dangerous elements of this tomb, and some of the perils that have to be navigated if you're going to try to go between the upper levels where these factions are hanging out at mostly, and the lost city deep underneath. So
I'm imagining kind of a like demilitarized zone, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Where
this is the DMZ.
This is the border. Yeah. This is the border between the creepy city and the and everyone doing drugs and the factions trying to make everyone be orderly and lawful.
Yep. So place that you're going to wind up in when you start off with should give you a clue as to what's going on at this level and will fill the primary purpose of what pyramids are fucking built for in the first place.
Right.
When you enter this room, you're coming down again from this hinged stone ramp. You will see on the walls of the room painted court scenes showing King Alexander and Queen Zenobia being entertained by a dwarven jester. Over in the corner, there is a niche in the wall with a small coffin, and in each corner of the room, there is a large brass jar.
Huh.
So this is a kind of 3x3 square room. There is a single door to the north, but you have kind of entered in through this, secret slab way. And now you can see this kind of depiction of when Cynidicea existed, when King Alexander and Queen Zenobia were in charge. And they had their dwarven jester. Not exactly the first thing I imagine with most dwarves that we know of in fantasy D&D.
Yeah, yeah. Can I say this module has way more coffins per capita than modules that we've encountered before. It's like, we get it. We get it.
Although, considering, it is a pyramid, there's been a decided lack of sarcophagi.
That is true.
Instead, it's more of a kind of a roaming, coffin hit and runs. Like the Cynidiceans are just, waiting for their opportunity to, in the vulture masks, they're just kind of hanging loose in the background. It's less the Conan scene where the vultures are starting to attack him while he's hanging on the cross, and then he just like reaches over and bites them on the neck and starts, I'm going to bring it through the kill you. And instead now we have just these kind of hanging out in the background, almost like, Wild West mortuary vulture mask. They've got their hammer ready. They've got their carpenter's saw ready. Right.
Yeah, kind of rather on the nose. Vultures waiting for you to die.
Yeah. The best satire is obvious. So this room, again, we've got a door leading out. We've got a coffin, small coffin in a niche on the wall. We also have these jars at the four corners of the room. Jeremy, what's your party interested in? What you guys looking for?
Small coffin jars around the room. I'm assuming the jars probably have, I'm thinking like urns. So this is like maybe a funerary.
Like canopic jars.
Yeah, right. So I guess I'm cracking open the coffin and seeing what's inside.
All right. Well, as you approach the coffin and touch the lid, it will spring off, and an oversized wooden model of the head of the dwarven jester, painted in bright colors, will pop out. That's right. You just got jokered. It's a Jack-in-the-Box.
A coffin with a dwarf head Jack-in-the-Box.
Yep. It also has the ashes of the jester in it, but the Jack-in-the-Box is kind of the defining trait of the whole thing.
And right. And I get that. Like having the urn of a jester be a Jack-in-the-Box it's cute. It's clever.
Now I want to make very clear, when I die, you are going to fuck with people years in the future. Cremate me for sure. But you better follow these specifications I've written down in my journal very, very cleverly. It's like, okay, Boffo, but if I open this journal, is it going to say that you prepared exploding runes today? Sometimes we just have to live life with a little risk, don't we?
You definitely know that he wrote this down, and like this was what the jester, hopefully this is what the jester wanted, though I'm now considering a jester in a lawful kingdom that's obsessed with lawfulness.
Hey, you got to have some way to make sure that your head's on straight. You got to have that's where the jester serves the greatest purpose, is being the satirical lens to criticize the reigning monarch. And monarchs that, didn't keep their jesters around were pretty clear, just like only following sycophants and yes men might do crazy, weird, and stupid things because no one's actually there to keep their egos in check. Like, I don't know,
That's true.
just invading some random country willy-nilly.
Or making your horse the vice emperor.
Yeah.
Just emperor things.
Why is that horse in the hospital? Horses don't belong in hospitals. But the other element are these jars. And your idea that, well, they're probably canopic jars. Actually, no. They are all empty. All 4 brass jars have nothing inside of them.
Okay.
This is
So
actually...
they're just decorative.
You would think that. But this is actually the master trick created by this jester. Because anything placed inside the jars, once the lid is placed on them, they will disappear into a small concealed hollow beneath the coffin. If you were to lift up the coffin edge, like pick the whole thing up, you would see there's a little depression. And in that, anything that's placed in these jars winds up there. They were used in court to amuse the emperor. So now I'm picturing this guy as like a combination of Penn and Teller. Like he's got...
I was gonna say, or the emperor, like an amused toddler, where you can, make things disappear, pull your finger in half, stuff like that.
Exactly. Now I'm picturing a person that looks like Penn Jillette, but with Teller's stature, and that's your dwarven jester.
Yeah. There you go.
So you leave this room. There is a hallway that is going to go west, curl around to a room south, or head north. If you check out this very, kind of easily connectable room, what you are going to come across is the high priest's burial room. So we're getting kind of the ancillary members of King Alexander's court buried here. And hopefully by the time you hit the second burial chamber, you guys might be clued in on what's going on with this level.
Right. Gotcha. This is the actual pyramid level.
This is the actual...
This is where the
tomb of...
Right.
Of Cynidicea. Exactly.
Right.
The door to this room is scorched, as is the end of a corridor. In order to get to the high priest's burial chamber, you have to kind of leave the main hallway, go down a dead end, and there is a doorway at the very end on kind of to your left-hand side. So there's just a dead-end hallway with a door at the end of it. And it's all scorched with the outline of a man-sized humanoid etched onto the scorched wall section in very Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of fashion.
Please.
Yep. The door to the room is slightly open, but not enough to see into the room. The man-sized outline is that of a ghoul. The ghoul was blasted into ashes when it accidentally triggered the magical trap guarding the door. Players might be frightened by it, but the trap has been triggered. The door is safe to go into.
Okay. Another trap you find triggered.
Right.
I presume to tell you that there are traps that you should, like, we are now entering the trap portion of the tomb level. Please be on your guard.
Or perhaps an escalation. Mind the trap.
Mind the trap.
Yeah. Say that in GLaDOS's voice. So it also could be an indication of the escalation of the type of traps that are in here. Because before, they've been very mechanical. Now we've got some magical traps going, and that could be a sign that you need to be a little more on your toes.
Sure.
Inside this room are paintings of a priest performing ceremonies. On a raised dais in the middle of the room lies an open bronze sarcophagus. Here, 3 hideous beast-like humanoids are tearing a mummified body apart with their sharp claws. Their 3 creatures are ghouls, like the one that got blasted out in the hallway.
Sure.
They do have paralyzation on their attacks. They are currently stripping away the body, I guess to get at the mummified flesh, because much like the players, they're starving.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's, starving ghouls.
Yeah.
So what you don't want to meet in a dungeon is a starving ghoul.
Nope. But there is gold. If you dispatch the ghouls inside the sarcophagus, you'll find a jeweled necklace worth 1,500 gold and 2 jeweled bracelets, each worth 600. So a little bit more XP.
Good XP, yeah.
Yeah, to start us off with. You can continue west, or you can check out the north section. After looting our sarcophagus, Jeremy, where's your party headed? West or north?
I've kind of been leaning west this whole dungeon, so let's go west.
Yeah. So continuing westward from here, you're going to hit kind of the edge, the western edge of this, and there is a long, winding corridor that is kind of a at first it may look like a waste of your time, but the more time you spend around it, you might actually discover no, there's actually more going on here. This is the ghostly haunts. Walking down this corridor, a shimmering, ghost-like figure of a man and woman appear before you. They are dressed in costly clothing, and both wear golden crowns. The man raises his hand and gestures for you to stop. Go no further, he warns, lest the curse of King Alexander overtake you. I am Queen Zenobia, the woman says. Turn back. Only death awaits you.
I like how she introduces herself,
Right?
despite the fact the person she's walking next to and has an identical crown on refers to himself in the third person.
Yeah. I mean, he may be one of those like who takes seriously. This guy needs no introduction.
I mean, I bet you that's the way he thinks about himself. But yeah, it's like King Alexander says go no forward, and I'm Catherine Deneuve, and I was in the first movie.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, Queen.
Yep.
You're doing great.
These are haunts. They're not actually ghosts. They are kind of small spectral images that exist, create an effect, and then just kind of vanish. Characters
they're Pepper's ghosts.
Basically, yeah. Players who see them must save versus spells or try to run away in fear for 1 to 4 rounds.
Oh, okay.
Since they have no real physical existence, haunts cannot be hurt by physical attacks or spells. They're little more than recorded images with, psychic spiciness.
Psychic spiciness.
Yeah. So this ghostly haunt is actually a really long, snaky corridor. You go down one direction, then you circle back up the opposite direction, and then you circle around again to a dead end. So it may look like nothing, but your trusty pocket elf is going to warble and yell to be let out from its cage and will alert you to the presence of a secret door as you are heading into this roundabout. The secret door is going to take you into a small annex. There is a long, narrow room. On the floor, it has red and white checkerboard pattern of 2x2 squares. Court scenes are painted high on the north and south walls. And in the east wall, there is a 2-foot-high opening at floor level near the southeast corridor. It's a really kind of long, narrow room, but at the far end, there is a very, very narrower tunnel, like only 2 feet in diameter, that leads eastward. As players get into this room, especially through the secret door, they may be confronted by a very old, like classic, you just don't see this enough, hidden pendulum blades.
Ooh.
Right? This is your Elden Ring tombs.
Yeah.
This is your Vincent Price in a Poe movie,
Yeah, that's the good stuff right there. Hidden pendulum blades.
Yep. There are several squares marked on the provided map in the guide. If players walk on any of the marked squares, roll a d6. On a roll of 1, the trap is triggered, which could create possibly some really good tense moments or lead to nothing if you just keep rolling nothing and the players are just like, we don't know what's going on, we're just going to keep moving. Victims caught in the trap or characters who try to run through the swinging blades will be unhurt if they roll their dexterity score or lower on a 1d20 roll. Those who fail each take 1d10 points of damage, which is a particularly nasty bit of damage.
That is quite a nasty bit of damage.
It says that the pendulum shafts are covered with a sticky green goo that looks like green slime, but it is harmless. The blades will swing for 1 turn and then automatically reset. This says that special 10-foot square ceiling blocks were designed to fall and block the passageway after the burials. The 2-foot-high opening on the east wall was formed when one block failed to fall all the way. So this was kind of a fail-safe to try and prevent anyone from getting into the tomb, something that the designers would have created whenever they built this tomb, put all the things in place, and then put deadlock drops in place so that nobody could get to the really important stuff. So this could be, in some games, maybe a history check would alert players when they're like, ooh, this architecture, this geography, we're getting close to something special here, potentially.
It's got Indiana Jones vibes. The pendulum blades, the stepping on the symbols on the on the ground, the falling blocks. It definitely has very much Indiana Jones vibes. And the first Indiana Jones movie was out by the time this came out, though it's not the one that has all those things in it. So
yeah.
Who copied who?
Pulp Adventures would have very well established these temple threats of doom.
Sure. Yeah.
That's the end of part 2 of The Lost City. And as we exit the trap portion of the dungeon, does fortune and glory await, or just more freaks? Find out in part 3. As always, we have a new release every other Tuesday. If you hate cliffhangers and like your podcasts long and all at once, we offer this entire episode from start to finish, uninterrupted, over on our Patreon. Find out more at our home base, analogdungeon.com. Drop a comment and rate the podcast so we can mark you safe from being too high with Zargon. We'll see you next time.